Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my NFL Week 2 preseason reactions. Now, this is going to be just like last week's preseason reaction video where there's going to be certain games I talk about a lot more than others because certain games I pay attention to a lot more than others. With that being said, I still got to catch a lot. I thought I caught a lot of great moments, and before we hop into the video, don't forget to use code WyattzWorld on G Fuel or Prize Picks where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or guarantee yourself to win a free $50 with your first $5 wager after using code WyattzWorld at sign up. And if you don't know how to use Prize Picks, I do plan to do another NFL lock video sometime before the season starts, so be on the lookout for that. However, that's all I've got for plugs today. Let's hop into NFL Week 2 preseason reactions. Okay, real quick before we start this video, I just gotta say, I am actually so happy that I did not get Madden 25. Dude, this game is getting ripped to shreds. I don't know if you can see the clip I'm watching right now with Jalen Hurts just escaping a million people, but hashtag bring back NFL 2K, it's a real thing. Just people posting clips of old games that had things that this Madden doesn't and things that the old games did better than this current Madden. Like, genuinely, I have not heard one good thing about this game other than the usual wave of people who say the same thing every year, and that's, it's an improvement from the previous years. Like, bro, I get it. People just want to like the game. They want it to be fun, but it really is a boy who cried wolf statement at this point. It's the same thing every single year. And unfortunately, it's not going to change either. Well, until EA loses that license, if it happens. Anyway, moving on to the actual reactions now. The first game we had was Philly at New England, and I got 3 takes from this. 1, Kenny Pickett is still terrible. The guy holds onto the ball way too long, and I'm starting to feel like a fool for ever thinking he was going to be really good. 2, Drake May, we got to see a lot more of him. He looks pretty good. He had a really nice pass. Unfortunately, it wasn't hauled in, but he did have a rushing touchdown. And 3, Joe Milton's an absolute psychopath. I watched him take off for a scramble and truck straight into a defender. I mean, lowered his shoulder and laid the boom, as the Costco guys would say. Outside of those aspects, though, I didn't really pay much attention, didn't find the game very entertaining. But I do hope the New England fans who were doubting Drake May after his first 3 passes in the first preseason game are starting to understand why they picked him and that Joe Milton is not a better passer than him. Moving on, we got the Falcons at the Ravens, and some of you can probably already guess I didn't pay any attention to this one. There was no Penix for whatever reason. Raheem Morris is sitting him the rest of preseason. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. Obviously no Kirk, obviously no Lamar for Baltimore, obviously no Derrick Henry for Baltimore. Like, I just had no reason to pay attention to this. However, I would like to point out a concern I have about Young Hoku. Brother kicked 2 for 5, went 40%, and I would like to think the weather conditions were terrible, but I actually did see a clip of number 10 on Baltimore throwing a moonshot of a touchdown, and it didn't look like the wind was too bad there. Is brother drunk? Moving on to the next game we got was the Bengals getting smacked by the Bears, and I watched this just to see Caleb Williams, and I have 2 takes on Caleb Williams. 1, the guy is a freak. 2, he is not perfect. He had a tremendous scramble for a touchdown. He had a great throw on the run. He is showing that he can get out of pressure. The guy has all the tools, but acting like he didn't throw 6 for 13, acting like his accuracy wasn't a little bit crazy on some of those throws, like, you're delusional. And I'm talking to the Bears fans that are acting like this guy is absolutely perfect, that is acting like he is Patrick Mahomes, that are acting like he is the best quarterback in the league already. I have no doubt that he is going to be elite, but chill. Moving on to the next game, we got the Giants at the Texans, and we all saw this. Everybody knows. But in case you haven't, Daniel Jones in a preseason game for his 3 drives went 3 and out, pick 6, and another interception. Like, dude, this guy doesn't have a surge of confidence left in him anymore. I want to feel bad for the Giants, but then again, I don't, because, like, they did this to themselves. There was no reason that they signed this guy for the amount of money or the amount of time that they did. Go back and watch his pick 6, dude. That was one of the worst throwing decisions I've ever seen. They have got to get rid of him after this year. In terms of the good that came out of New York, they had a massive defensive tackle hawk down a running back. That was crazy. I think Malik Neighbors looks really good. And if I have to shout out one aspect of Houston, it would be to Derek Stingley Jr. because that guy was an absolute monster. He should have had 2 picks. Moving on, we got the Lions beating the Chiefs by a point. This game was on in the background as I was doing a bunch of housework, and I paid attention just enough to know that I'm going to get an earful about Xavier Worthy. He had 3 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown came from Carson Wentz, and 2 of the receptions that I saw were actually pretty deep passes, but I will not apologize until he does this in the regular season. Outside of that, though, I really don't got much to say on this. You know, tried to pay attention to Patty for the little bit that he was in the game. Detroit side, I don't want to watch Nate Sudfeld or Hendon Hooker, but I will note that both kick kickers went 100% for the day. Jacob Bates going 4 for 4, and Bucker went 3 for 3. So the weather must have been good there. Either that or those two weren't hammered like Young Ho Koo. Now moving on, we got the Vikings whipping the hell out of Cleveland. My biggest takeaway from this game is Sam Darnold deadass might be QB3 on the Vikings depth chart, and that's with JJ being on the IR. So Mullins was spotty, 11 for 21, but he did have a touchdown. Then Jaren Hall came in, went 4 for 5 for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns, and one of the touchdowns I saw was absolutely beautiful. Also, Myles Gaskin and Keeney Ngongwu continue to be productive on the ground. Jalen Naylor continues to impress, only having 1 catch for 31 yards, but it was a hell of a grab. And also, Lewis Cine came alive, having 5 tackles, a sack, and an interception, plus one of the hits he had was enormous, knocked a guy's helmet off. I wish this team would stop giving me hope because they're not gonna do good, so knock it off! Little compliment to Cleveland here. Offensively, they were a popcorn fart the entire day, absolutely worthless. But defensively, despite allowing 27 points, you guys sacked the Vikings 5 times, so whether people want to admit it or not, you were disruptive. All right, now moving on, we have Seattle and Tennessee. I hardly paid any attention to Tennessee's offense at all. There was no Levis, no Tajay, no Pollard. There was really nothing to watch over there besides Malik, who was okay. He did throw a pick, though. However, on Seattle's side of things, I actually think Sam Howell looked relatively good. You can see he went 11 for 14. Now, that doesn't mean everything. I'm pretty sure Kenny Pickett was like 12 for 14, but he was making some great passes. He was making some great decisions. He dropped a bucket of a touchdown. I don't think Seattle has, a thought of starting Sam Howell over Geno right now. Like, that's not even in their head. However, if he goes out there next week and does this again, he's going to let him know that they do have another option. Now we got the Bills at the Steelers, bro. We haven't scored a touchdown all preseason. This game sucked. As soon as Josh Allen ran into the tunnel and didn't come back out, I did not want to watch this game. Bro, our quarterback game without him, it's not good. And also, those who are attacking Keon Coleman for dropping the touchdown, I hope we're all under the same page that we'd rather have him drop that than catch it, get drilled, and injure himself before the actual season starts. As far as the run game goes, I am impressed with how productive we're being, and I'm also very impressed with Frank Gore Jr. He's actually looking really good. Also on our defense, Greg Russo, that guy is starting to emerge as an actual demon now. Again, it's preseason, I'm aware of it, but he was all up in their fucking business yesterday. 2.5 sacks. Another takeaway, Joe Anderson. No Milano, no problem apparently to this guy. This defense is giving me hope, man. It's giving me a lot of hope. As far as Pittsburgh goes, I got little to nothing to note here. They scored 3 points. They had a horrible quarterback battle the entire game, where at this point I would just give it to Justin Fields. He's at least got his legs, and Russell Wilson's throwing for fucking 4 yards an attempt. And also, I would just like to throw a little bit of concern I have with Broderick Jones. I thought he was a lot better than what he looked like yesterday, dude. Greg Russo kicked his fucking ass. Now we got the Jets-Panthers game. Again, nope, absolutely not. If Canales isn't going to start Bryce Young, I'm not watching his fucking team, plain and simple. Also, the Jets didn't start anybody I gave a damn to watch. However, I do believe I heard that Mekhi Becton is hurt again? Like, that's really fucked. I really thought he was going to be great. He can't catch a break. All right, moving on, we have the Commanders at the Dolphins. I watched this just to see Jaden Daniels. I got to watch Jaden Daniels, and I have a couple takes about Jaden Daniels. So for one, the guy's fast. The guy throws a nice ball. I think he's got an incredibly unique skill set he can bring to this organization, but one thing I noticed about him on a lot of his completed passes is there was someone else he could have hit for more yardage. Like, to me, it seems like he snaps the ball and already is determined who he's going to throw the ball to, which for chemistry's sakes probably is going to be good, but when you're in an actual game and you need to win the game and every down matters, he's gonna start to get ripped to shreds if his tight end is wide open 15 yards down the field and he's immediately throwing it to a receiver who's 5 yards down the field standing on the sideline. Again though, all shit he can work on. He's young, it's expected. Moving on, we have the Cardinals at the Colts. You couldn't have paid me money to watch this game. However, I do have one incredible takeaway from it that I saw checking the box score, and it made my eyes pop out of my fucking head. Laquan Treadwell had 7 receptions for 72 yards. The Laquan Treadwell. I would have thought this guy's bagging fucking groceries right now, man. I'm actually blown away. Moving on, we got the Rams-Chargers, another one I have to apologize to you guys on, but what I saw out of both passing games last week was enough. I didn't have any care in the fucking world to watch these two play. You would have started Stafford or played Herbert for a little bit, sure, but without them, no. Now we got the Bucks at the Jags, and this is one I didn't plan to pay attention to and ended up paying a little bit more attention than I expected to. For one, Kyle Trask, okay, he's not perfect. He's definitely not an NFL starter, but he's probably gonna be a pretty decent backup at one point in his career. He has got some talent in him. Just got some obvious kinks to work out, and there is just certain plays where he looks like a completely different quarterback than other plays. But on Jacksonville's side of things, Mac Jones, he is gonna be a good backup, dude. Mac Jones played an excellent game. 16 for 23, 210, 2 touchdowns, and one of them was a deep, beautiful pass. He looked like a Mac Jones that we hadn't seen since rookie year. He almost looked better than rookie Mac Jones in a way. I bet you if Trevor gets hurt, Mac's gonna go off, and he is going to develop some interest going into next offseason from other teams. Super quick review of the Cowboys-Raiders game here. One, Trey Lance actually showed a little bit of promise. He looked the best I've seen him look in a very long time. 15 for 23, 151 through the air, 1 passing touchdown. Also led the team in rushing with a rushing touchdown. Like, it's good that he's at least showing a little bit of promise again. As far as the Raiders go, I actually have a question for Antonio Pierce. So while I agree Gardner should be your starter there, I think he is much more adapted to be a starter in the NFL than Aiden O'Connell. I just want to know why this was the game where you named him a starter when he looked absolutely fucking terrible. Like, dude, he had some lousy throws, some terrible misses, and this was the game that made you go, oh, I want to start him? Again, not to sound confusing, I agree with AP, but I'm just confused as to how his mind wasn't made up before this game and how it suddenly was after, when I think the guy who looked worse got the job. Now moving on, we have the Bo Show, and I would like to start out with a shout out to Green Bay on finishing with 2 points. That's something I don't think I've ever seen, and I don't think I'll ever see it again. So, like, seriously, thank you for the memory. And 2, Bo Nix is fucking good, man. Go ahead, make fun of him for how little he throws the ball per attempt. That guy can get the ball down the field and he can score. Pretty sure I've read that every drive Bo Nix has played this preseason besides one, the Denver Broncos have scored points. This is a quarterback who can be coached to greatness, and sadly, I know he has a coach that can bring him there if he gets it all together. Also, back on Green Bay really quick, you guys really had a hell of a day with the Denver run D, didn't ya? You guys didn't do shit. Like, this is really bad. I could have done better than this. And ending, we have the Saints at the 49ers. Couple of takes here. Nobody on New Orleans was able to be successful when throwing the ball. I mean, Derek Carr was accuracy-wise, but he had 7 for 9 for 47 fucking yards. Did his best Russell Wilson impression, I see. And when it comes to the 49ers, Brock Purdy couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, and he had a really ugly drop pick. Yet Josh Dobbs had another miracle play, which is putting him on highlights all around the internet, having people wondering, can this guy potentially be a quarterback there one day? Fuck no. And that's about all I paid attention to in this game. I also weirdly feel like this would be the score if this was a regular season game as well. Anyway, guys, that is going to be all for me reacting to preseason week 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, you already know what to do to show support, and I appreciate any and all help. However, in the meantime, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and as always, I will see you in the next video.